Good morning. Today we are going to start software testing unit 1 session 15. In the previous topic we have studied about spiral model, which is also a very important process model in analyzing the risk factors involved in the software project. In today's topic we are going to see ETVX model, that is entry task verification or validation exit, and then we are going to see criteria to select process model. So let us see what is this entry task verification exit model. Process used to build the concept of verification and validation. So this model focuses more on verification and validation of each phase. So which are the phases involved in SDLC? That is, first is requirements, then designing, and then coding, and then testing. So these all phases. So in these phases, more focus will be on verification and validation. So which are the steps involved in this? Let us see. Entry criteria. So this entry criteria specify when that phase can be started and what inputs you need to start that particular phase. And then task or steps. Okay, after entering in that particular phase, okay, what you are going to perform, what task are you going to do, what steps you are going to carry out in that phase, you are going to do that. Next, verification. So it specifies that methods of checking that the task have been carried out correctly. So what are the tasks you have performed? Okay, those are correct or no. That will be verified in this verification. And next we have exit criteria. Exit criteria is like coming out of that particular phase. Before coming out of that particular phase, its purpose is to ensure that the task have produced an output that meets specification or requirements of the process. So before exiting, it is going to check out whether it has met all the client's expectation, that particular task, and then it is going to, and those are working properly or no, and then it is going to come out of that particular phase. Okay, so as I told you, these 4 steps are applied to each phase of SDLC. Next is, in this model, any process is broken down to multiple tasks which would be performed linearly. You will enter a task only if entry criteria is met. To enter any particular task, like for example, when you want to move from requirement phase to design phase, before entering in the design phase, the SRS document must be ready with you all, and it should be correct document. Okay, that is the entry criteria for development phase. Next is, and exit task when verification is complete and the exit criteria is met. So when you are coming out of that design phase, you should have all the design document here, which will be useful in the further phase. So when you are exiting from design document, the design document must be ready, okay, so that it can be used in the further phases. So this is what entry criteria and exit criteria before entering into that particular phase and coming out of that particular phase. So this entry and exit criteria we have studied in the modified V model. So this concept is applied in that modified V model. Okay. In this model, each phase of the software project is characterized by the following. So let us revise what we have seen. Entry criteria, which specify when that phase can be started and also includes inputs for the phases. Next we have seen task or steps that need to be carried out in that phase along with measurements that characterize the task. Next we have seen verification, which specifies methods of checking that a task have been carried out correctly. Next we have seen exit criteria, which stipulate the conditions under which one can consider the phase has done, also includes output for only the phase. Okay, So exit criteria purpose is to ensure that tasks have produced an output that meets specification or expectation of the process, and that we call it as validation process in the exit criteria. So this is the diagram of ETV model X. So before entering in each phase, it has to meet the entry criteria. Once it's enter in that particular phase, it is going to perform the task that has to be carried out in that particular phase. If you are in the design phase, then what is the purpose of that? What task you are going to carry out in that design phase? Okay, you are going to design high level design and low level design. In the high level design, you are going to concentrate more on look, how you are going to give the look to the system, what interfaces, how interfaces you are going to design and all. And in low level design, you are going to concentrate more on the architecture, algorithms, logic. So this task you are going to perform, and then it will be verified whether whatever the task you have performed, those are correct or no. And then once it is verified, you are going to move to the exit criteria. Before coming out of that particular phase, you are going to check out whether that all the client's expectations are met or no. And then you are going to exit from that phase, and then you are going to move to the next phase. So this model offers advantage for effective verification and validation. That is, what are the advantages of this? Clear entry criteria make sure that given phase does not start prematurely. So one advantage of this model is that before entering in any particular phase, so proper planning you are going to do, and what exactly is needed to enter in that particular phase, clearly you will come to know and then you are going to start the phase. The verification of each phase helps prevent defects, or at least minimizes the time delay between defect injection and defect detection. So verification process, it is going to help to prevent the defects before occurring it. It also saves your time, okay, between the defect injection and defect detection. Okay, so most of the errors you are going to minimize at the beginning only, okay, before entering, okay, before testing it. So it will save your time. Documentation of detailed tasks that comprise each phase. So each phase you're going to document it properly, all the details. Clear exit criteria provides a means of validation of the phase after the phase is done, but before handing over to the next phase. So these are the advantages of this model. Now we'll see criteria for selecting process model. We have seen so many models, SDLC models, we have seen waterfall model, we have seen prototyping model, we have seen rapid application development model, incremental model we have seen, spiral model we have seen, V model we have seen. Okay, so many models are there, process models are there. So how we are going to select which process model is best for your project? So let us see which are those criteria which is best suitable for your project. The basic characteristics required to select process model are, project type and associated risk, requirements of the project, the users and the project team. Mostly the process model will be selected on these types, that is what type of project your software project is and what risk is involved in that. Based on that you can select the process model, and what type of requirements are there in your project, okay, whether you understood the requirements properly or no, whether you did not understood it. So based on that you can select the project. And the users, what type of users are going to use your software project, whether the bank users are going to use, or whether the military users, people in the militaries, they are going to use it, okay, or are you developing it for the medical purpose. So based on that also you can select your process model. And project team, what type of project team you have, whether it is a new project team, inexperienced people are involved in that, or experienced people are involved. Based on these all criteria you are going to select the process model for your project. Even in when you are next semester, when you are going to do the project, okay, you need to select the process model. So based on what type of project you have selected, okay, what type of project it is, what is the risk involved, okay, or whether the requirements of the project you understood or no, whether it is very complicated to understand. Based on this you are going to select the process model for your project. Suggested base models, some of the examples we'll see on this Suggested model based on team property. If your team members are new to problem domain, you can go for the spiral model. That is, are the majority of team members new to the problem domain of the project. And next is new to the technology domain. That is, technology, you can go for the spiral model if even you are new to the technology domain. If your team new to tools to be used, if your team is new to tools to be used, okay, you can go for the spiral model. That is, are the majority of team members new to the tools to be used on the project? As what is the majority? Based on that, you go for that model. Any training available? As if any training available, then you can use incremental model. Okay, at each step you are going to increment, add the functionalities to the existing functionalities. Okay, that means you are going to divide your project into small units, modules. Comfortable with structure, okay, then go for the waterfall model. Closely tracked by manager, then go for the spiral model. Okay, so if you are new to the problem domain, if you are new to the technology, if you are new to the tools to be used, okay, which is very risky, these are all a risk which is involved in the project. So spiral model is best for risk analysis, so you can go for the spiral model. Okay, and others like training available, you can go for the incremental and waterfall model, and closely tracked by manager, you can go for the again spiral model. Okay, in spiral model also you can track the process properly. Next we'll see selection on the basis of requirements of the project. Okay, selection of process model based on the requirement is also very important. Okay, first see, requirements are defined early in SDLCs. At the beginning only, if you know your requirements and if you are thorough with the requirements and requirements are fixed and you are not going to change it, then you can go for the waterfall model or rapid application development model. Requirements are easily defined and understandable. So requirements are easily defined and understandable means you are not going to change it, and it is a very small project and easily you can develop that. Then you can go for the waterfall model and rapid application development model. Requirements are changed frequently. Okay, if you are not fixed with the requirements, you are not sure with the requirements, and you can change it anytime. Then to understand the requirements properly, then you can go for the prototyping model or spiral model. Requirements indicate a complex system, that whatever the project you are developing, it is very complex and the requirements are also very difficult to develop. Okay, then you can go for prototyping model or spiral model. Okay, so this prototype and spiral model are like iterative process model which keeps on repeating the loops and iterating. Okay, so it is best suitable for complex requirements, complex system and all. Next we'll see selection of the process model based on users, as users are also very important part to select the process model. How is the user involvement in your project? Requires limited user involvement. Okay, if your project requires only limited user involvement, means clients user involvement, then you can go for the waterfall model or spiral model. Okay, then user participation in all phases. Okay, do you need the client's participation in all phases? Then you can go for prototyping model or rapid application development model. No experience of participating in similar projects, then you can go for prototyping model and spiral. Yes, if the user don't have any experience of such type of projects, then it is one type of risk which is involved in the project. Then you can go for spiral model as well as prototyping model. Okay, next, selection of process model based on project type and risk. Some of the risks we already seen there, but some other types of. Does the project identify a new product direction for the organization? Project identify a new product direction for the organization, then you can go for spiral model or incremental model. Next, is the project a system integration project? System integration means there are many modules, many units. Okay, if the project here divided into many units and many modules, then you can go for spiral or rapid application development or incremental model. Is the project an enhancement to an existing system? Then you can go for rapid application development and incremental model. Enhancement to an existing system means you are adding there some new unit or new module. Then incremental model is the best. Is the funding for the project expected to be stable throughout the life cycle? That means the budget which you are decided, it is going to be remain stable or it is going to change, keep on changing. If it is going to be stable, then you can go for the waterfall model or rapid application development model. Next, is the project expected to have a long life in the organization? Then go for waterfall model, spiral model or incremental model. Is high reliability a must? Okay, the project must have high reliability. Then go for spiral model and incremental model. Means that project is used in a very important place and high reliability should be there. Then go for that spiral model or incremental model. Next, is the system expected to be modified perhaps in ways not anticipated post development? If your system is going to be keep on changing, then go for spiral model or incremental model. Is the schedule constraint? Okay, is the schedule is fixed? Then you can go for spiral model and rapid application development or incremental model. Okay. Are the module interfaces clean? Then go for waterfall model or incremental model. Are reusable components available? Okay, if you are using those components again and again, then go for spiral model or rapid application development model. Are resources like time, money, tools, paper scarce? So these resources are available with you all. Does it is not scheduled properly? Okay. So if you want to decide that, then you can go for spiral model. Okay, this is, you can also see we have already seen waterfall, prototyping, rapid application, spiral, V model. In which case you can use the V model or modified V model. That is when design of test can be separated from the actual execution. Is early design of tests reduces delay by increasing parallelism between development and testing. If you want to cooperate between the development team and testing team, okay, that is the verification and validation. Okay, the more focus is on testing. Okay, then you can go for this model. There are so many types of testing and each type of testing has to be carried out properly, and there must be proper coordination between the testing team and the development team. So the testers has to be involved from the beginning only, so that the testers most of the work will be done at the beginning only. So in today's topic we have studied entry task, verification model, and how to select the process model based on the requirements, users, project type and risk and the team. Okay, thank you.